Have you ever like used the inspiration that you get maybe from a courtroom and apply it to your books? Any stories or anything
Well,
that just
they are legal thrillers, the
yeah,
19 in the
yeah,
Mary MacIntosh
yeah.
series. So, of course, I garnered from my legal experience, trial lawyer, to write the courtroom scenes. But I base all of my stories on true crimes. So, for example, Red Hands is about the missing and murdered indigenous women of North America. Ongoing cases, they go unsolved, unprosecuted. Uh, and I grew up with 28, I think, reservations in Wyoming. My best friend was a native Crow. So that's part of our culture. And the fact that these women go missing and are murdered and their cases aren't resolved for jurisdictional issues or what have you, it bothers me.
Louisa Live. This season of Louisa Live is made possible by our exclusive presenting sponsor, Gary Kashishin Real Estate. Welcome back, everyone, to Louisa Live. I'm your host, Louisa Sharamatian, and today I'm joined by someone very special, Maureen Anne Meehan, a Superior Court judge in OC who has spent over 20 years serving the mental health population and a best-selling author with a 30-year writing career. She's the powerhouse behind the Mary MacIntosh legal thriller series, including Red Hands, Dying to Ski, and Powder River Poison, known for their gripping storytelling and real-life legal depth rooted in the American West. Beyond fiction, she's also the author of 60 Dates in 6 Months with a Broken Neck, now streaming on Amazon Prime and Apple TV, along with Single Mom, No Manual Included. Her latest work, Inferno on the Coast, is a powerful tribute dedicated to the victims of the Palisades. From the courtroom to the page, her work is all about resilience, justice, and the complexity of the human being.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Maureen, thank you so much for stopping by.
Absolutely. I was so excited. So I met you last year, and
Yes.
we've been working together for
Yeah.
a while. And
Yeah.
through that process, my movie was in post-production when we met, 60 Dates in 6 Months, and we were able to get a great distribution deal with Byron Allen's Freestyle Digital Media.
Yes.
And it went live last Friday on Amazon Prime Video
Yeah.
and Apple TV. And it's a really cute rom-com.
Yeah.
And I have had such good feedback from the viewers from
Yeah.
all over the place. And it's heartfelt. It's about hope. It is about dating in your midlife after losing your soulmate in your late 40s and getting back out there in a whole new world. And it's funny. It's heartfelt. It's soulful. And a lot of twists and turns along the way.
Wow, I love that. So many questions to ask about your journey, about the film, about why you decided to write that book and then turn that into a movie. Just your career as a judge and how we met. Of course, we met through Natalie Dubois, the
Yeah,
DPA gift suite.
We did.
Natalie is amazing. I've been working with her for over 10 years.
Yeah,
And
she's amazing. I'll be with her at Cannes Film
I
Festival in a couple
know.
of weeks.
Yeah.
In her gifting suites again, signing this
Yes,
novel,
I-
signing 60 Dates in 6 Months with a
Yes,
Broken Neck, which is
absolutely.
now the film.
Which we'll
So-
talk about, yeah. And
Yeah.
of course, also Inferno on the Coast,
Yes,
which is dedicated to the Palisades victims.
it is. Yes, we wrote that to sign at the gifting suites in for the Golden Globes, which we did, and all proceeds of that book go to the
Yeah.
charitable causes. And it is dedicated to first responders, all victims, and just honoring those who, some of these people lost everything and yet
Yeah.
were donating what they had, the shirt on their back, just amazing community in Palisades and Malibu. And just what a devastating time a year ago January was.
And what moment did you realize I have to write something and give back? Was it someone very close to you, or was it the whole thing that kind of?
I've been writing since I was a little girl, but diary, journaling. But my legal secretary was murdered in Orange County in 1996. So I
Wow.
started writing the Mary MacIntosh series to keep Lisa alive. So I really adored her. And I felt like her murder was very foreseeable. It was her estranged husband, always like it is on Dateline. He was jealous and petty, and she took a shower one Saturday morning. Her two children from a previous marriage were watching cartoons, and he snuck into their house and he stabbed her to death. And it was so devastating that I started writing the Mac series to keep her alive. And 19 legal thrillers later, it's alive and well. I base them all in Wyoming, where I was born and raised, the nature of my roots and kindness. And Wyoming's a wonderful state with kind people. And Lisa grew up in Utah, so she kind of that same ilk of a person where just salt of the earth, like your Armenian community where you just, everyone is so kind and supportive. It's important.
So you keep her story and soul alive through these books.
Yes.
She's always with you all the time.
30 years of writing about her, and she's been
my
gone 30
gosh.
years. So.
Did that case come to justice?
He actually killed himself at the scene.
Oh
So
my God.
luckily there wasn't a trial. There was no confusion about what happened or why, but and her two adult children have done well in life, so that's a good thing.
Oh my God, Maureen, you deal with so much. Before we talk about the film, the books, dating, finding love again, I'm very interested in your life as a judge. How that came about. You're a judge. I'm talking to a judge right now.
So
It's crazy.
I practiced law for a long time,
Yeah.
real estate related litigation.
Okay.
And there was an opportunity, a law passed in California in 1995, and no county had taken on the requirement of this law was that instead of mental health patients coming from their lockdown psych ward hospitals to the jail for their hearings, their capacity hearings, because it was very stressful for them, because they have to get shackled and they're in the tank with hardened criminals. The law was that we would be a traveling courtroom and go see them. And so we were the first, Orange County was the first to adapt to this in a collaborative way. And we formed a collaborative court, our mental health court. And we, from 2005 until COVID, went to all the hospitals and jails of Orange County and did the hearings on site with a team. We had county counsel, a public defender, a psychiatrist, psychologist, and staff, social workers, etc. When COVID hit, our geriatric wards, people got very sick. And so we went remote, and we've remained remote, which is way more efficient. I did 4 hearings this morning before coming to Louisa Live. But what we do
I feel honored that you drove all the way here.
I did. Capacity hearings, we just help people. We have a full team of people that helps with housing and bus passes and outpatient treatment and making sure they're titrated on correct medicine. And that's what we do. We just help people.
Traveling courtroom.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
That's what we are.
And the fact that you do that while being a producer, a filmmaker, an author, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah. And have you ever used the inspiration that you get maybe from a courtroom and apply it to your books? Any stories or anything that just...
They are legal thrillers,
Yeah,
the 19 in
yeah.
the Mary MacIntosh
Yeah.
series. So, of course, I garnered from my legal experience, trial lawyer, to write the courtroom scenes. But I base all of my stories on true crimes. So, for example, Red Hands is about the missing and murdered indigenous women of North America. Ongoing cases, they go unsolved, unprosecuted. I grew up with 28, I think, reservations in Wyoming. My best friend was a native Crow. So that's part of our culture. And the fact that these women go missing and are murdered and their cases aren't resolved for jurisdictional issues or what have you, it bothers me. But I wrote Gilgo Beach last year, which is about Rex Heuermann, who just 2 weeks ago pled guilty to 8 counts of murder. He was a high-end architect in New York, and on Gilgo Beach where he lived, body parts were washing ashore, and finally they tied it to him. He was a serial killer in the night, married with children, lived this normal life, yet a serial killer. Fox Hollow Farm is about a different serial killer in Ohio and Pennsylvania who would kill only gay men. And they found hundreds of bodies buried on his farm in Pennsylvania. So that's Fox Hollow Farm. All of my cases are based in true crime. So Deputy Dog, or D.B. Cooper, is about D.B. Cooper hijacked a plane in 1971 in Portland to Seattle and jumped out of the plane en route back and was never found again. Deputy Dog was part of the Charles Manson gang, and he killed the sheriff where my cabin is in Nederland, Colorado, in the same year, 1971. So I joined both of those true crimes and bring them into Mary MacIntosh's courtroom.
Maureen, I'm blown away. Like, how are you real? Oh my gosh.
Powder River Poison is a really, really special book to me. Buck Brannaman is the horse whisperer. I'm sure you saw the Robert Redford film Horse Whisperer.
Yes.
It's based on Buck's life. And he's just the super talented horseman in my hometown. His ranch is where I grew up. A fracking company bought the mineral rights from under his ranch. They fracked on it, disrupted his entire business with the noise and the vibration. It made the horses, who were already nervous horses, he had to move his whole business elsewhere for quite some time because it ruined his ranch land. Because when they frack, they dig in, salt water comes up, it kills everything in its path. So Powder River Poison is on the Powder River in my hometown in Wyoming. It was in fact a true crime. It was a case that went to trial for damages. He prevailed, and he's back training horses in Sheridan, Wyoming. Really nice man. His wife is a patient of my sister, who's a dentist in town.
All of these books, I'm sure you want them to be movies, each of them, right? Do you see that vision?
I actually met with a production company that was part of Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone a couple weeks ago to make the Mac series into a series. I've had other producers ask for individual ones like Red Hands, Gilgo Beach, and I'm working through that right now.
So when you write, do you have this ritual? Like, are you driving down the street and you have this moment where you have to pull over and write? How's that process for you when you write all of this? It's so cool to me.
I'm very dedicated about it, and I have a vision. I used to make a giant poster board, a vision board, and take the whole scene, write different parts, write the characters, write the cards. Now it just comes to me. It's 30 years later, so it's a pretty good flow. So like the Palisades Fire book, when Natalie asked me to write it for the gifting suites for DPA, I wrote it in 3 days. I researched, I made it into a playwright because I thought that would be clever. It's based in Hollywood. That fire pretty much shut down Hollywood's filming for some time, and a lot of people were displaced permanently. Some, and I wrote it to honor all of the people involved in that. What inspired me to write 60 Dates in 6 Months with a Broken Neck is that I was at London Book Fair in March of 2024 with my legal thriller series, signing books, and I'm getting on the plane to come home to re-enter into my new dating life. I had just started dating, and I had fallen in my kitchen and broken my neck. It was a very serious injury. And I have all my dating notes, and I'm kind of thumbing through them, and I've given all these guys nicknames that didn't work out.
That's funny.
And so I was thinking, this is funny. You're an author. You should write this. So I did. I wrote that book I think on the plane ride home in a day. And I took it to LA Festival of Books in April of 24, sold out in like 42 minutes. I took it again in April of 25, and then I just did it last Saturday. Was there for
the LA Times one?
LA Times Festival of Books, and it's fun. It's a fun rom-com book. It's meant to be fun, and I stayed friends with most of the gentlemen that I went on dates with. It just didn't work out for whatever reason, which is fine, but I played pickleball with Goodbye Coffee just a few weeks ago. So
is that a nickname? Goodbye
that's
Coffee?
chapter 1.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, I can't wait to read it. I haven't read it yet. I have to be honest, but I can't wait to read it and watch the film and all of that. I love to read and also watch the movie. I love to see the differences. The nicknames, that's hilarious. So, before we actually talk about what made you want to date and the loss of your soulmate and all of that, 60 dates in 6 months, what did you learn about men?
I learned that men are as complex as women, for sure. Dating is intimidating to them as it is to us. That they're out there looking for love and companionship, midlife, and it's not easy to find. It's like that needle in a haystack, and you have to be patient and hopeful and willing to, like my mom said, kiss a lot of frogs.
Before you land that prince.
Right. So I was married to my soulmate, and he ended up having a very rare cancer. We had 4 teenage kids at the time, and we chased treatment all over the country, and we just never could get ahead of it. It kept outpacing us, and he passed away in 2014. So grief therapy time, etc. So in late 2023, after I'd finished grief therapy, I decided to dip my toe back in the water, and I did, and it's been a journey.
And you found love again, which
maybe.
But regarding your husband that passed, how did you know he was your soulmate? What was it about him that?
You know what? We were just really good friends.
Yeah.
We ran together every morning for years. He was one of my son's best friends in preschool, and he lived nearby, and we both ran early in the morning before we went to work. He was an attorney for a giant pharmaceutical, and so we ran and we talked for an hour every day for years. And one day he kissed me.
Wow.
And that was that.
And that's it.
Yeah. It was kind of one of those evolving, growing friendships, which was lovely and beautiful. And, I honor him still every day. He was just such a wonderful person.
And does time really heal, or it's just you learn how to love differently or give that love to someone else?
I think all of the above.
Yeah.
Time does heal, but you don't forget. And the best way to honor them is to love, do productive things, do what they'd be proud of you doing, and raising the 4 children into wonderful adults. And now I have a granddaughter. And,
You're a grandma. Look at you.
I'm
Hot
a grandma.
And a judge. So cool. I have to say it.
I think honoring Bill is just an act of kindness every day. He would be so proud. He would be so proud of this movie that I always told him, chase your dreams. Your dreams won't chase you back. And he loved the fact that I was always willing to try new things. And, writing's hard. Writing one book's hard. I've written 25 now. And making a movie's really hard. I've never worked so hard in my life.
Yeah.
And because you've been on production sets.
Yes.
You're up early. You work long hours, and then at nighttime you're preparing for the next day.
Yeah.
You're kind of never off.
Never. It's so. I made a post about that too the other day. You're never off. There is no day off. Like
there is no.
You're following up. You're following up. You're emailing. You're calling. You're coordinating. But if you love it, you do it, and that's your fuel.
Yeah.
And so much questions in my mind. I don't even know. So the dating process of 60 dates and with the broken neck and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Louisa Live.
This season of Louisa Live is made possible by our exclusive presenting sponsor, Gary Kashishin Real Estate. General sponsors, Lions Partners Insurance and LA FUE Hair Clinic. Our supporters,
Louisa Live.
So when you felt ready to actually date, when did you realize at a point where you said, is this Maureen? Is this me? Did you ever felt out of place? Was it too fast for you?
So I was actually in church praying, and it came to light that, I think you are ready.
Ready.
I'd actually spread my husband's ashes. Finally, I'd spread them all over the world. I took his ashes with me everywhere I went for years. And finally, over time, I went to the church where his funeral was, our Catholic church where I live, and I spread his ashes, went to Mass. It was the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, and I stopped crying over him. It was like 9 years later, I just stopped crying, and you're ready. So I actually, my first date was with someone from church, goodbye coffee, and we're still friends. So it's just not a fit for us, and we both feel that way, but he's a really sweet man. I started dating on several different sites.
How is that? I don't do
it's
dating
a full-time
apps.
job, I
I
swear.
can't. It is what it is.
mean-
I have to meet them in person.
Well, I think organically it's probably better.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is relying on pictures and words, and that was a big misnomer for me. I would sometimes walk right. Most of my dates were hiking dates because I wanted to go hiking anyway.
I love that.
And
Get
it's
it
you're
out of the way.
outdoors, you're moving, it's fresh air,
Yeah.
you're around other people. It's not awkward. If it's not going well, you can just cut it short or what have you. But
Take a different trail. Bye.
right, gotta go. Get that phone call. Yeah. But it's awkward, I think, for both people, but I think it's less intimidating to do something active. So I did golf dates, pickleball dates, hiking dates, a lot of that. So you're not locked in, but I walked by people on hiking trails that they were supposed to be my date, didn't look anything like their description or their picture. And so that's part of the movie, because that's how I wrote the novel accordingly. And there's some really, really funny scenes of people you're just like, that is not as advertised.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's relatable because
Very.
I'm sure a lot of these people go on dates and it's catfish, right? They say, you don't look like that person online. Like, what is that?
So many.
That's scary.
Yeah. I mean, people post pictures of themselves from 20 years ago, and you're like, or altered pictures of those kinds of things. And you're like- so I actually, the movie depicts all of those
can't
things because there was some dates where you just go, oh, no.
Give me an example of the worst date that you went on within the 60. Anything that just pops out.
Well, don't tell me what to do. You're not my cat. This man
Oh my God. Okay.
was insistent that I was not worthy of hiking a hard hike in top of the world in Laguna, which I do all the time. And I'm like, don't tell me what to do. You're not my cat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then Shiver Me Timbers was a guy who allegedly had this yacht or sailboat or what have you on Catalina and wanted me to take the ferry over to have lunch with him. I'm like, don't you have a boat?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
come pick me up if you want to have
I
lunch.
know.
That was funny. A guy that I knew in college. So he had his picture from college
Oh my God.
on the dating app. And so we talked for hours on the phone, and he showed up to go to a Super Bowl party with me, and I didn't know who he was. And he looked nothing like his picture. We ended up going to church together and going to a Super Bowl party, but that was that.
That's it.
Yeah, Meaty Mitts. When you see the movie, you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know who that is. Severely overweight, and part of my thing is fitness. I like fit people.
of
I like to
course.
ski. I like to pickleball. I like to golf, and I go hiking. And he didn't make it through the hike. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So
Like
there was-
next.
Yeah, next. He's really, we're still friends. I saw
Yeah.
him at a concert last summer. He's a very nice person. It's just not a fit for me.
Any red flags that you came across, like that you're surprised about the dating scene versus maybe 20, 30 years ago when you were in the dating scene?
A lot of surprises. So a lot of professional men. I had a professional man. We remained friends, but CEO of a big company, and he stood me up one night
He flaked? He just didn't show
after
up?
confirming in the morning.
Oh my God, I hate that.
And so you know what the effort is to go on a date. You decide on your outfit, you get your hair and makeup.
Oh, I know.
You get
Hair,
ready,
nails, everything.
everything, and you're sitting there alone, at a bar, restaurant, going, okay, after having, 3 previous dates with the same person. For example, I got home from the ICU from breaking my neck on a Wednesday. He came to my house for a glass of wine on a Friday. So this wasn't like our first date where he stood me up. He stood me up, ghosted me on our 4th date. So
Oh no.
yeah, I mean, those are surprises when they're professional people and you're a professional woman. You expect them to behave accordingly.
I think that's embarrassing. It shows their character, their intellect. How could you be so successful and not even text someone and say, "Hey, I can't make it"? But to ghost, and that term right now, ghosting, it's pretty common.
Yeah.
You
It was
see.
shocking to me because everyone has their phone with them pretty much
Yeah,
24/7. So it's pretty easy to take 2 seconds out of your day and say, sorry, something came up. That's all you need to do.
And do you see how like dating has been so difficult, let's say for women in their 20s and their 30s?
So I went to LA Festival of Books with the book last year with a QR code that said, tell me your worst dates. I have 2 sequels as a result.
Yeah.
Push You Away and Let Me Be. It's from everyone else's worst dates. And I got email responses from the QR code on the bookmark from 80-year-old women to 18-year-old boys. Wow. So it's a very relatable topic in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, because people are out there trying to date. Most people are on dating apps to try to date, and they all have similar experiences. I had a woman who's a professional. She's a CEO of a company in Newport Beach in Orange County who went to a date with this guy to a restaurant of his suggestion, expensive restaurant on Newport Coast. And he orders champagne, he orders surf and turf, all that kind of stuff. And the bill comes, and he's like, oh, I forgot my wallet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I have a really good friend of mine who had a very similar experience at that same restaurant, but he wasn't fully expecting to pay the bill. That wasn't the issue. She ordered, after they'd finished, they were getting dessert, she ordered an extra surf and turf to take home to her daughter on his bill. He was like,
Yeah.
what the heck? So there's
Yeah.
just a lot of bizarre behavior out there.
Yeah, and I feel like courting has changed, right? The
Totally.
generation of daters, the flowers, picking up from the home or opening the door, all of that. It still exists, but that it's changing slowly.
Chivalry
Yeah.
does exist, but it's kind of few and far
Yeah.
between. But again, most women don't have gentlemen come and pick them up because they don't want the gentleman to know where they live.
Absolutely.
For safety, most people meet somewhere for a first date, which I advise,
Yeah.
for your own safety. But, oh gosh, I'll tell you the story.
Yeah.
So I had a date where we met in San Clemente because he lived in Del Mar, so it was kind of halfway for us. And he brings me a giant bouquet, and I tell him I'm in a park. And
Yeah.
he parks accordingly. And he brings me a giant bouquet and a gorgeous vase. And I said to him, you know what? This restaurant has tiny tables. Do you mind if I just leave the flowers in the car? He's like, oh, no problem. We put the flowers in, and off we go to dinner. Lovely man, have a great conversation. But in the conversation, I said, conversationally, what'd you do today? Oh, I was at the DA's office in North San Diego County because I have a stalker. And I said, oh, stalker? He said, yeah, this gal I used to date's been stalking me. I found her this past week in my backyard. My children were swimming in the pool, and so I had to go get a restraining order. I'm like, I probably should have told me about the stalker before we met.
Yeah.
Does she follow you places?
Oh, yeah, because you're with him and yeah.
He walks me to my car. The flowers been placed in my car. She keyed my car.
Oh my God.
Like bad, like it had to be repainted.
Did you get scared at that moment? Do
Yeah.
things like that freak you out? Even though you're a judge, you've seen it all, but do you ever get scared for your safety? And
I wasn't
Yeah.
then. Yeah, I
You
was
were
very
alarmed.
cautious about how I drove home, and luckily I live in a gated community and all those things. But I've handled gang trials. I used to have the criminal side of cases as a judge, so I've seen a lot. But when it's personal like that, you're like, oh, that's a little frightening.
do men look at you differently because you're a judge when they date you? Are they intimidated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was 95% of men who didn't want to date me again was intimidation was the word they used.
Yeah, intimidated.
And I'm a very personable person.
You are.
I'm very down to earth. I'm very, kind of tomboyish, if you will, but I love to cook.
Yeah.
I own my own home. I'm like a
Yeah.
nice, normal human being.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's intimidating. But when, like, Goodbye Coffee said to me, you did the Ironman triathlon, you run marathons. I'm like, yeah. I challenge myself to something new every year. Last year was making a movie. And I think that intimidates some people. I think it should actually be inspiring,
I think it takes a strong, confident man to handle a woman like you, a woman that is so layered, multi-talented, doing different things throughout her life. I think when a man is secure, then he won't have a problem with that.
That is, in fact, the truth.
I've learned that.
Secure men are looking for confident, secure women, and they're just not as easy to find. I think in midlife, people have gone through events that can be traumatizing, and a lot of the men told me that their divorce was extremely traumatizing for them, financially, emotionally, spiritually, what have you. And so I think that those life experiences, for me, it was becoming a widow, which was obviously very traumatizing.
Yeah.
So I think when you go back into this dating pool, you do have baggage. You're unpacking, and you have to be patient with people because they're unpacking too, and they're trying to reveal a few layers, and it's easier said than done, as they say.
Yeah, and I think you also meet a lot of young women in your journey as a judge and as a filmmaker. Do they ever ask your advice, like, Maureen, I'm dating this guy, I have this issue? What do you tell them now, knowing all this wisdom about life and heartbreak and dating?
Well, all three of the leads in my movie, the female leads, aren't married. So I have a lot of girlfriends who've just quit the dating pool. They just said enough is enough. And my advice is keep going. Keep looking, keep searching, find kindness, go do the things you love to do. And you never know. I mean, last year I went skiing by myself twice, but I get in the singles line and think you never know who you're going to meet in the singles line skiing or the après skiing or what have you. I go golfing and I'm sitting there on, practicing, and I look up and down the line of people on the green, on the driving range, and I'm like, 80% men. There's opportunity here on this golfing range.
And I think it's so powerful to go places alone.
It is. I mean, I usually go to mass on Sunday evenings, and I often go, to have dinner at my favorite local sushi place by myself. It doesn't. You have to learn to love being with yourself first and date yourself, and so you can date other people. But playing pickleball, my pickleball communities, a lot of guys, and it's fun. You're athletic, you're out doing something fun, and you just never know where you're going to meet somebody. Could be in church, it could be at a wedding. For your age, people often meet at weddings.
Yeah.
And that's a fun, joyous place to meet somebody that you have obviously mutual friends, and that's a good place to start too.
Yeah, and I think also if people weren't afraid to be alone, it would make dating easier because you love yourself and you work on yourself, and solitude is king, as they say.
It is.
And if you learn to love yourself, then the person you're with feels that energy. So
I think so.
It's
I think
so
that
true.
if people really get to know themselves and honor your strengths and weaknesses, work on your weaknesses and work on your strengths, and don't be afraid to reveal either. It shouldn't be intimidating. It should be, just rewarding and awesome, and laughing. I think that laughter is the best therapy, and you need to be with somebody that makes you laugh, and, you make them laugh. I mean, we've worked together. We're cracking up. When we were filming this movie, there was a couple scenes that were so funny, off script, and some of our actors went off script, and it was actually better than what we wrote. And we had to cut several times just because the cast and crew were
like that.
cracking up. And that's a good thing, that brings that levity and the life and the that volume of character to the screen.
Yeah, and let's talk about the film, the book that was made into a film right now, and you're getting ready for Cannes Film Festival. Let's talk about that, the filming process, how you feel about it, all of that.
So I formed a production company last March in 2025, And we started casting in April. We kept polishing the script through May. And then we started filming in June and July of last year. Been into post-production. Got this great deal with Freestyle Digital Media, so it's on Amazon and Apple TV now. It came out Friday. Filming. We did immersive filming, kind of White Lotus style. Cast and crew lived with me for 3 weeks.
At your home?
Yes.
In OC?
Yes.
Like, okay.
And it was a little crazy and
I'm
wild.
sure.
But I think it made for a really great film because, you know, there was no job too big or too small for anybody. We helped each other out with cooking, cleaning, moving equipment. And we filmed in 4 restaurants of friends of mine in Orange County, which I was grateful that they let us be on location in their restaurants. Bottega Angelina, beautiful Italian in Laguna Niguel. Glass Pars in Dana Point, in the Dana Point Harbor, beautiful place, all about the cake. And then Noel's Restaurant has a speakeasy, so we filmed in the speakeasy. And then a lot of beautiful parks and botanical gardens, the pickleball scene. We had a lot of really fun scenes, and we had a blast filming together. So I do think immersive filming has value. It's an independent film, so it was on a budget that didn't allow for big expenses, but we stretched every dime, and I think it's a really great film. I'm super proud of it. It's doing well, getting great feedback. Film Threat gave it a great review. We've had a number of very good reviews already, so that's good.
And will the film be screening at the Cannes Film Festival too, or how?
It will not be screening at Cannes, but I will be there signing the book there with DPA Gifting Suites, and we'll be going to different, parties and events along the way, and the red carpets, and that will be very fun. I've never been to Cannes Film Festival, so it's a whole new world.
I haven't either. Hopefully next year. Well, Natalie is going right now. She's actually on the
left
airplane
today. Yeah,
literally. She sent us an email. We saw it. But
so I will see her in 3 weeks at the film festival, and I'm very excited to be in attendance. And so the movie itself is already out. We're working on our international rights right now because it's North America is by Renown's Freestyle Digital Media. So, Amazon, Apple, YouTube, and some of the, major streaming services. And then working on international distribution and also working on selling the Mary MacIntosh series.
That one, I feel like that could be a great Netflix show.
It would
right?
be such a
Episodic, kind of.
Yes. She's a strong female protagonist, prosecuting attorney in Wyoming in the West. Where it's very Yellowstone-like, or the Madison is, with Michelle Pfeiffer, and has that feel. So I think there's a lot of potential for that series.
All these years as a judge, working with different types of humans and situations and cases, what have you learned about the human mind?
Louisa Live.
This season of Louisa Live is made possible by our exclusive presenting sponsor, Gary Kashishin Real Estate. General sponsors, Lions Partners Insurance and LA FUE Hair Clinic. Our supporters,
Louisa Live.
That it can heal. I used to have juvenile drug court for years as part of, I had the mental health court always, but I had juvenile drug court as well. And these young kids who were hooked on drugs, their requirement in my courtrooms, they had to become athletic. So they had to go surfing or rock climbing or running, whatever. They had to get a new natural high. And watching that process for years taught me the resilience of the mind and how you can focus and redistribute your cravings to athletic things. So I had all of them run the Orange County Marathon one year. They could hop, skip, jump. They could do the 5K. They do the whole thing. They do whatever they wanted, but I got them all a bib. And one of the boys had just been jumped out of a gang in Santa Ana. The only running he'd ever done was from the law, right? He won the 5K in his age group. He was a natural runner. He became a huge runner. He got the runner's high instead of the drug high. That was one of my favorite cases. So he also learned to surf. So when he graduated our juvenile drug court, we got him a surfboard as his gift. So, those kinds of things just bring you so much joy. In my home office, I have a picture of a gal who was in my juvenile drug court. She was a meth addict, and she really took to rock climbing. And so it's a painting of her climbing a rock in Joshua Tree. And it's in my home office to this day. It reminds me of the hope of she's halfway up, trying to get higher and higher. And I love that for her. Higher in the natural sense as opposed to, methamphetamine. So I loved the fact that the human mind is capable of whatever you set yourself up for.
Maureen, I have goosebumps because that is so powerful. You're helping them find a new high.
Yeah.
Not high from drugs, but high from being athletic.
Yeah,
That
and
is
being
just
out in nature.
Incredible.
And being with other people and laughing and trying and failing. I mean, you're not going to be good at everything you try the first time. I mean, no one gets up on the surfboard the first time they get out on a wave. You just keep trying, keep paddling. And that's what I say, is just keep going.
And do these people ever return to drugs? Have you ever seen that?
The recidivism from our juvenile drug court was very little.
Right.
We had most people, once they graduated and they really earned their stripes, have remained sober. And I had a friend send me a note recently through social media saying how many days she's been sober. And I love that.
That's so powerful.
It is powerful. And she's taken up to a whole lot of different, very healthy things. And that's a good thing.
Working with the youth and youths that are, addicted to different types of drugs, what's a pattern that you see? What makes them first dabble with drugs in the first place?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. Oh.
Normally it's peer pressure or escapism, or both, and it's terrible because if you
So scary.
get on heroin, you're on it for life. You have to take methadone for the rest of your life. That's
Why?
because it's such a highly addictive drug.
Oh my God.
You can get addicted to it the first time you do it.
That's so scary, like visualizing it.
Yeah, I mean, with my mental health court, we had a hearing a couple months ago of a gentleman who's a drug addict and also bipolar, and luckily somebody had Narcan with them on the streets of Costa Mesa, saw him, what they presume was dead on the street from an overdose, shot him with Narcan, and he didn't die. And so now he's in our care court program. He lived, and we're getting him all kinds of aftercare. So it just takes one caring adult to say, yep, you know what, I believe in you. I know you grew up in the foster system. I know things were rough, but we care about you, and we're gonna keep you alive and well. So we have a lot of those cases in the mental health court that we follow through with them.
Yeah,
and
follow through, pay attention.
Yeah, we assign them a social worker and make sure they have aftercare. And Orange County does a really good job with that.
And as far as mental health and mental care, do you feel like men don't turn to mental health as much as they should? It's like stigma.
I do, and the reason I say that is schizophrenia is way more likely to be in a man than a woman. Onset is ages 16 to 25, usually high-functioning men. So it's, they avoid it, or family covers for it until a bad episode happens, and then it usually involves the law, and that's how they usually become in my purview or in the psych wards of the hospitals. But it usually is a result of something not very good happening, and mental health, it has a stigma attached to it for all people.
Yeah.
And almost anyone knows somebody that has mental health issues, and attacking it head on, getting the care one needs, and the group therapy and the medication titrated at the right level. And the problem is people don't like to take the medicine because it kind of dulls them sometimes a little. And unfortunately, if they don't take it, they usually find trouble. And so the stigma needs to be debunked, because we all have mental health issues
Yeah.
from time to time. I mean, things don't always go well in life.
Yes.
And depression is normal
Yeah.
for when things don't go right, or when you're trying something and it hasn't succeeded right off the bat and you have to try again. Those setbacks are hard. And overcoming setbacks is a strength of character and mental challenging. So, yeah. I love working in this field because all we do is encourage people. You're going to be okay. We're going to get you what you need. And we do.
What would you tell families who are trying to hide that, let's say, a child or an adult, visibly has issues, but they're trying to mask it because of pride or culture and all of that? What would you tell that family?
There are certain cultures that
Right.
that are way bigger into that than others. And I would tell them to please get the help they need.
Yeah.
It actually, getting the help is the courageous part. And once you start sharing it, people will confide in you. Say, "Oh yeah, that happened to my family too," or "Yeah, I have a really good friend, similar issues." And you find out that you're amongst friends, and it's okay to get help. We all need help from time to time, and that's okay. Therapy is good for the soul, regardless of what it's for. Mine was grief, but it was very helpful. My grief therapist was amazing, and I think therapy and sometimes medication, if that's what you need, is advisable. So yeah, I think culturally it's important to just face it head on. I have a neighbor whose son had an issue, and they all went into serving back the mental health population, and they have found it incredibly spiritually rewarding to give back. I think that's just absolutely lovely. So.
With all your years doing grief therapy and healing from your loss of your husband, what did your therapist teach you?
That you have to let go. Like me taking my ashes with me all over the world, of his ashes.
Oh, let it go, like literally let it go.
So when she finally advised me just to go spread them at the church and, say a prayer and, be more soulful and forgive yourself for, you can't solve everything. And cancer is terrible. And we didn't fail. It's just... the cancer was a vicious, rare kind. And I would advise people it's okay to move on. It's part of loving yourself to move on. And whether it's grief or whatever you're stuck in at the moment, say goodbye to it. It's holding you back. And, like I said, chase your dreams.
Yeah. And I feel like for anyone watching right now going through any, similar situation, whether it's a divorce or a heartbreak and all of that, they could even follow you and look at your journey and get so inspired.
Yeah.
Recreating yourself and everything.
I feel like we're always recreating ourselves. And like with Louisa Live, this new venture of yours is fantastic. And it's a dream that you're chasing down and following. And not everything's guaranteed, and you go and you look at your viewers and you're like, oh, please have it be good. You know what that's like. And I think that everyone should chase any dream they have, whether big, small, or otherwise, and go out there and try something new. You just never know. It could end up being your passion for life. And I didn't dream 2 years ago of making a movie.
I know.
It came into my head early last year, and here we are. A year later, it's on the big screen.
I know, and I bet you want to make more movies, right?
I do.
Right.
I want to make Single Mom No Manual Included as a prequel. It's a parenting book. And I similarly QR coded it. I crowdsourced it. Tell me your funniest parenting story. I got some of the funniest stories, so I wrote it. And it's just adorable because as a parent, you make mistakes. You can't avoid making mistakes as a parent, but you got to laugh at it. I mean, it's just, half, 3 or 4 of the stories are mine. The stuff that happened, my kids, we reminisce about, oh my God, remember when that happened?
Oh my gosh. And for any single moms watching this right now, viewers, listening while you're driving and all of that, any advice for them to just keep them pushing hard and going through? Because being a single mom is so hard.
It's so hard. You're the cook, you're the chef, you're at the grocery store, you're on fields with sports or plays or whatever your child is doing, my best advice is keep your kids really engaged and be very mindful of who their friends are, because that can go awry very, very quickly. Their peers are their social pressure, and I was always really careful about with whom my children associated, and that just know that you're going to be tired all the time. But you go from working all day and then you get to the school or to their events and you're there all night, and you have to have assistance, and don't be afraid to ask for help, because we all need it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the thing. Some people feel like they can do it all and they get burnt out when it's okay to ask for help.
Oh yeah, I asked my parents to come out and help me many times.
Yeah.
Or friends, hey, I'm late, getting home from work. There's traffic. Would you mind picking my kid up at the baseball field? No problem. People are happy to help. They're there anyway. So
yeah, and I think right now with the birth of AI and ChatGPT and all this technology, and kids having access to phones and all of that, that's been very scary as well.
I think that part of their peer pressure is the social media, and nobody posts their bad days. Everyone posts their good days.
Always, yeah.
And so what their perception of reality isn't really reality. And I feel bad for parents, kids, teenagers now, with all this social pressure and the confusing messages, mixed messages that are out there, and everyone looks glamorous or beautiful, and they're
filtered and photoshopped. It is what it is. Like, we all do it. Yeah.
And the reality is we're all humans. We all have flaws. And I was lucky to raise my kids before social media was a thing. But I will say that all phones came into my bedroom at night. The charging station was in my bedroom. So by 11 o'clock at night, if you didn't have your homework done, that's on you. And I had parental controls on their computers. And I kept a close eye on their socials, because of, even though it was more limited back then, it can be cruel. Kids can get bullied into feeling very terrible about themselves, and that's very dangerous. So that's my advice, is keep a close eye on their socials.
How old were they when they were charging the phones in your room? Like the
Teenagers.
So this was like 15 years ago, or Facebook times, or
Yeah.
no Instagram, no TikTok, nothing like that. At the time.
Well,
there was Instagram.
There was Instagram, Facebook, some of that stuff.
But not the new things, right? Yeah.
No, it wasn't nearly what it is
Yeah.
now. But nevertheless, it existed, and my advice is don't let them be in their phones all night long, because things don't go well after a certain point in time. And
The charging station. I love that. Moms
true.
and dads, you should hear that. The charging station is in mom's room during bedtime. So they would leave the phone in your room and go to bed.
yeah.
Oh, you know what? Because at nighttime we all do this. We're scrolling,
Yeah, that's
and
when
the blue lights on our face.
and just it's unhealthy in a lot of ways.
Yes.
But you don't want your kid going down some rabbit hole in a chat with people who aren't being supportive of them, and then expect them to sleep well and get up for school the next day and perform well in the classroom or whatever. And so, yeah, it was pretty.
Well, and the games, Roblox.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a dangerous game. And my nephew used to play it. I'm sure a lot of kids, not only my nephew, but when I did some research about Roblox, and like the pedophiles that are on that website, and
It's horrible.
scary. I mean, I'm just like sharing what I read online. I got so scared, and I told my mom. I said, "Mom, we're deleting that app." It was scary.
The video games that are out there, the violence, you can't not tell me that violence doesn't play a role in society. I mean, we have a lot of gun violence in the United States,
Yes.
more so than any other country, and I think some of that is, so there's an association there of, that's
Yeah.
scary. It's
Just
frightening.
be aware.
Yeah,
be
be aware.
alert. Whether you're a mom, dad, auntie, uncle, anyone who's young. They're so young. They're so naive, and they're just so eager to learn. And
They're impressionable.
so sad. They're so cute.
And you want them to stay as young as hard as possible.
Yeah.
And the other thing is to get them engaged in sports.
Sports.
or whatever they love. Like my daughter loved theater, but she also loved sports. My boys all loved sports, but I made them do theater with her in the summer because they all had to be in the same camp at the same
Yeah.
time. So we had to alternate and agree on camps. So they all had to do theater camp.
Well, Maureen, next book is Parenting Tips 101.
Yeah, parenting.
Before
is fun.
social media and after social media.
Yes. Yeah, the parenting book is very funny.
Yeah.
But I hope everyone tunes in to 60 Dates in
Yes.
6 Months. It's a darling rom-com. It is so funny. Laugh out loud.
Yes.
In fact, Natalie came to the premiere
Yes, she
in
did.
Laguna.
Josie and Natalie, and Josie's a
And we
great
just-
friend too. Yeah.
Yes, and everyone laughed. Just absolutely loved it. And the reviews are really wonderful for this fun rom-com. And it's doing well.
Yeah, and people could watch it on Apple and Amazon Prime.
Yep, and
Okay.
YouTube.
And YouTube.
Yeah, and a
right.
number of other, but yeah, it's on the two major streaming services would be Apple and
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. So 60 Dates in 6 Months.
And we'll link everything, of
Thank you.
course. And I can't wait to watch it. Once I do, I will text you.
Please do let me know.
So before we wrap up, because I ask every guest the same two questions towards the end,
Okay.
I do want to share this beautiful necklace that you
Oh,
got me.
yeah.
Guys, Maureen gifted this to me, and it's so special because it's a pomegranate necklace,
Yeah.
and I'm Armenian, and it's so sentimental because that's the fruit of Armenia.
It is.
And it means so much to me. It's such a beautiful symbol of my culture and heritage.
It is. It's the Armenian good luck charm, if you will.
Yeah, that
So
means so much to me.
It's fruit of life for the
Yeah,
Armenian. Yeah,
fruit
the
of
pomegranate,
life.
the seeds of life.
Wow, Maureen, this is beautiful. I will always wear this and cherish it. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
So, if you had your very own billboard on Sunset Boulevard, what would it say?
Chase your dreams won't chase you back.
I love that. Your dreams won't chase you back. That means that you have to be aggressive, right? Like you have to do everything.
You do. You have
Yeah.
to create your own universe. And in order to do that, you got to formulate your dream, manifest it, do something about it, and then go get it. So,
I love that.
yeah.
And last question, what have you purchased under $100 that changed your life?
Oh, that is a good question. Under $100.
20, 30 bucks, just something simple but made your life easier. Just like, wow, this is good stuff.
This sounds like silly funny, but it was a new computer mouse that, because I write all the time and it actually works all the time. And I write on vacation, I write in my office for work. That's a silly little thing, but it was a new computer mouse because my other one kept messing up and it was driving me crazy.
And it made your life easier.
It made my
right?
life easier.
Yeah.
It was like $10, but it's consistent.
I love that.
And the other thing would be, I love to cook, and I bought a used on some used thing or thrift store, a really, really good cast iron pan. And it's so fun to-
Life-changing for cooks.
right? For cooks, it wasn't expensive.
Not me, for cooks.
Right, but I love to cook. So I mean,
I love
simple
that.
little things
I love
that are
that.
in your house that you
Oh,
use a lot,
Maureen.
and there you have it.
Oh.
Nothing earth-shattering or sexy, just
Yeah,
practical.
yeah. Anything else you want to share with our listeners and viewers about future projects, or just a message you want everyone to hear?
I hope everyone hears the message of my motto is chase your dreams. Everyone is capable of greatness, and we all have it within us. So follow it, chase it down,
Thank you.
do it. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? And there is no failure. I mean, look at the light bulb and electricity. There's thousands of failures until they got it right, Gravity didn't just invent itself. So I think that it's really good to not fear. Fear-based decisions are not good decisions already. So have your decisions based on faith and hope and trust, and believe in yourself. You can do it.
Thank you, Maureen. Thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure.
So much fun.
Very fun. Thank you for having me, Louisa.
Of course.
Louisa Live.